First thing I'd say is that was a very good offensive football team we played. That team's going to win a number of football games in their conference and I think have a very successful year. I think the quarterback was an outstanding player and throws a very accurate ball. He operates on time. He understands the system, as I told you going into it. I called him Mr. Clean Jeans going into it because nobody ever touches him. And by method, he sinks out of there and puts himself in an untouchable position and threw excellent balls. 16 was the kind of player that was advertised going into it, and one of our primary goals, keys to victory, was capture number 3, and I thought our kids did an excellent job of doing that. Were we satisfied with how we played overall? No, sir. But our expectations are higher than that, especially when it comes to the number of pass yards that we gave up. At the same time, we held them 120 yards below their normal output on the season, held them below their passing yards, rushing yards by 110, and equaled their low scoring output. So we're very pleased to have the victory.
What do you think about the way they're doing?
Really has been very intent on his move and trying to master both spots he's playing, primarily as a hog, but he does play some razor still as well. It was a transition for him. He's been an inside guy for us, and he's really taken the change to heart. He spends as much time as anybody, extra-wise, in the film room and asking questions. He has to make up for a lack of practice on Tuesday because he's in class, and he leaves us about a third of the way through practice. And he's quite often, his car's still here at 10 o'clock at night on that night as he comes up, tries to make up for what he missed physically by seeing it mentally and getting that film work. He's playing at a high level in both effort and execution and was awarded MVP because of that level of play. Saturday's game.
The South Carolina offense has had to kind of improve from the loss of Debo Samuel. What have you seen in how they've changed in the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think they're taking advantage of all resources that they have, and that begins with the quarterback. Quarterback's a good player. He's a heady player. He's a coach's son. He understands the game very thoroughly. He understands their offense very thoroughly, and he's the guy they lean on. He's a tough guy. He's not afraid to run it. If you give him space, he's going to run it, and he's going to drop his shoulder. He's not going to slide to the ground, and he's going to gain the extra yard if it's available to him. At the same time, if he sees a receiver that's wide open, he's going to let it fly in a scramble situation, and got a big touchdown out of that because of it. They play a number of running backs, and I think getting the running game going with the loss of the receiver is something that they're working hard to get accomplished, and they got quality backs that are able to do that. They're big, thick backs that run downhill and are going to force you to be physical as defenders when you have to tackle them. I think the the tight end is the most targeted tight end that we've faced thus far. He's a guy that is a vital part of the offense, and he's going to be involved in it. Doesn't change what we do. It just heightens your awareness of a guy that sometimes is forgotten as far as the offensive system. And then you got a number of receivers that have picked up their game and stepped in and are making catches and running routes. They do some things formationally that challenge you. There are two primary personnel groups, and about every formation known to mankind out of those two personnel groups.
Their offensive line is pretty banged up during this game. Does that alter how you guys game plan at all?
No. We have to defend their offense and the 11 guys that they put out there in the field, and changing to accommodate that or adjust to that is not something that we'll do.
What about what David Williams had to play there? Is there anything you can get from him about tendencies or specific things of guys on their offense you're so close to?
Oh, I think there's insight that a player can always provide, physically about kids, but as far as a system or what they're trying to accomplish, no. But you can get an idea on guys, what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are potentially. at both spots as well. Yeah, I mean, he could go in any situation on the field, any down and distance, and play either the Mike or the Will position as he takes the field. I think that play was spectacular. I think he read it well. I think his effort was outstanding, and the layout it's a play that we showed the defense and talked about. This is why football is a game of inches, because this is the kind of play that makes a difference in the outcome of a football game. I don't think the last play of the game when he tackled number 3 in the open field was any less spectacular. That was a great tackle against a very skilled offensive player, and for Grant to break down and make that play in the open space like he was, I think that was a great play as well. So his reps will continue to increase. He's was nursing a little bit of an injury here a couple games ago. He's past that and back to 100%, and I think his reps will do nothing but increase as the year goes along.
Brett was kind of his eye on the big play. Where did the back come from, and what did he see that he dropped back into that?
Well, the back came strong, so it was a balanced set, and the back came strong to Scooter's side, and Scooter was actually in good position running with him. They'd run, we refer to that route as a pipe route, back running right up the pipe to the strong side of the formation, and they'd run it one time primarily against Arizona State in the opener of the season. We saw it about 4 or 5 over the course of the game, and our kids actually did a really nice job of staying with it throughout the game. But Scooter was in good shape, and as a balanced linebacker, Grant was also flowing that way, and when he saw the route and saw the quarterback get locked on it, he just took off at an exceptional angle to be in position to help out.
You guys played a couple of new freshmen, or I guess younger, not freshmen, a couple of new guys on special teams. Rebels, about bringing Young, I got him name and everything. Captain was, what's his deal with talking about?
Well, Brendan wasn't even with us in the 105 as far as training camp goes, and he's a walk-on on our roster that was a transfer a year ago and was ineligible because of that. He's a guy that is a very smart player and limited reps in spring ball. When he got his chance to go on, he impressed me immediately with doing things right, as opposed to going out there and making a mistake 1 out of every 3 plays. He was where he was supposed to be, and he plays hard. He's done the same thing in impressing the offensive coaches on the scout team by giving exceptional effort and giving them the looks that they need on a consistent basis. And with that, he jumped out to the coaching staff enough to be brought up and put in a position where he could compete and see if he could help our football team, and that's exactly what he did.
Well, Brett says Montero Brown is kind of developing maybe as a special teams player. What have you seen from him? He's a late arrival.
Yeah. He's a talented late arrival is what we've seen out of him. He's got length that you want in the safety position. He really runs. He goes and he plays downhill, and there's not much hesitation when he does it. He's aggressive. He's an ideal special teams performer because of that, and I think given the opportunity and coach giving him the green light, he could be in the same situation as well.
Now that you've seen it on film, what happened with they had a long touchdown pass where it looked like Liddell was in great position to make a play on the ball and just kind of figure what exactly happened?
Depth perception. One of the things that you often have to remind secondary players and all defenders, truthfully, is that the ball is not being thrown to them. And sometimes they'll go play a ball like it's being thrown to them instead of having a full awareness of where the receiver is and being able to change their angle or match the pitch of the ball and catch the ball at its highest point. So Josh was in a position to make a play on the ball, had the ball extended its path, which it didn't because the receiver cut it off as he should have at the highest point. So something that we're actually going to work as far as adding some deep ball drill stuff in and try to help our awareness of where the receiver is and judging the depth perception as we go.
We played Munson on special teams, so there might be more of a role on him.
Yeah, I think Derek is a very aggressive player, and he does things fast and he does things violently. I think that showed up on Saturday in his execution of the special teams assignments that he was asked to go out there and accomplish. I think looking forward, defensively speaking, of what he adds to our defense, what he adds to certain packages is something that we're taking a look at.
You said that because of the scheme and the teams you played, there hadn't been a lot of opportunities for sacks. But South Carolina maybe is a more traditional offense. Would that possibly exist?
I think that's accurate, and I'd hope that opportunity would exist. But getting back to a team that's in 11 and 12 personnel and has a few more people around the ball and maybe doesn't run the quarterback as much as some other folks, I think puts you in position maybe to make some calls to go after the quarterback. You know, we were pleased with the 2 sacks that we got against the kid Saturday and the number of hits we got on him additionally, which is by far more than anybody that they'd played against this year.
Last champ was talking about how A&M really made them one-dimensional. They really couldn't run the ball much at all, and maybe their offensive line would be healthy. What's your take on your ability to maybe do something?
Well, I think anytime you can stop the run, you got a chance to play great defense, and you know, we got that accomplished in Saturday's game against New Mexico State, and it will be the goal this week, and always an objective of ours. And if you can get that done and force a team into a passing game, then it allows you to make some calls that are a little bit more favorable in those situations. Will we have an opportunity to do that? Can we go out there and execute that? We believe we can, but we need a good week of preparation to put us in a position to do that.
Doug Martin was really complimentary to your linebackers.
Mhm.
Sees improvement there. What do you see from that group as a whole?
Well, I think they are improving, and I think Scooter Harris, as I've said, is just going to get better and better every week as he gains more knowledge. You can only teach the playbook so much and put so many things on the board. You get a lot more education when you're out there on the field and doing it full speed against somebody else that knows how to attack you and is working hard to attack you. And I think he's earning that education right now. Dre Greenlaw, you know, I think his being behind on repetitions has shown through the first 4 games of the season. He missed all spring ball and a good deal of training camp, and I think he's still learning lessons as well. And so there's still upside and a high ceiling for Dre when it comes to that. And Grant Morgan, we've already talked about what he brings to us and what he adds, and the ability to play both spots. I think the guys they're playing well, and I think they got more to give. Yeah, I think anytime you're doing something in victory, it's always fun, and he added a new twist to the kids, and the kids enjoyed it and picked up on it, and had a lot of fun with it. It was fun to see him laughing and carrying on.
You look at Beverly, you know, he was supposed to be a high school senior last year, and then they were going to redshirt, and so he's still a pretty young guy. I mean, does he look like a guy that's, you know, that young?
No, he looks like a seasoned player who's been there, and I think he enrolled early, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, he's got some time under his belt there, and you know, growing up in a film room, if you will, with a dad as a coach, I think it shows.